Shift to matters by the public, which is noticed for 2 o'clock. We have several cards, some speaking, some non-speaking, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Woodward to go ahead and call whatever card she has.
We'll start with Melinda Melier, Todd Bcc, and Fane Losman. Sorry? Bucci? I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about pool barriers.
I'm sorry, your name and address, please.
I'm sorry. My name is Melinda Melier, and address as well,
Please.
8842 Estate Drive, West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm here to talk about pool barriers and specifically removable pool barriers. Our neighborhood has had incidents recently which I would not have previously thought about, and I thought maybe you haven't thought about it either. Removable pool barriers, they can be removed. And so with regard to their being in place, that is dependent on citizens or homeowners associations, typically, especially in gated areas, to call code enforcement to get some muscle. I know that this is a state issue because I know the Florida Building Code permits removable pool barriers. I've presented some information to my legislature, and I'm hoping that it will be pursued. But I think specifically with regard to the county, there could be something stated other than just the removable pool barrier agreement that is signed that says pool barriers must be in place at all times, because that is what the law is. In our neighborhood specifically, we had not just a problem with there being the fact of a removable pool barrier, but I think there's a second prong with regard to the county, and that is the inspection of removable pool barriers when they're put in. In our neighborhood, I witnessed a removable pool barrier be put in March. It is placed in the sand, loose sand, not firm or dense sand, but loose sand. There are no footers. There are no sleeves. On a good day, the pool barrier is leaning. On a bad day, you can imagine with the rain that we've had, it's over. When code enforcement comes, they inspect pursuant to what the permit, how it was obtained. Now, this permit was just obtained in March. And so when pool barrier, when code enforcement comes out, they'll say, put it out, put it back up, and it's put back in the sand. So it's really not doing its purpose. It also doesn't have a permanent fixture at one end like it's supposed to, and it actually doesn't wrap completely around the perimeter of the pool. I would not have imagined that this would pass inspection. However, in the process of this particular neighbor getting their, their pool inspection, et cetera, I had a conversation with the contractor. The contractor, who is a prominent contractor in town who does several homes, had originally told me that you only need an alarm. And I said, well, what if a child falls in?
Thank you. Would you leave with one of our people here the address of of what you're talking about, and then we'll follow through with it further?
Okay. Well, no, I prefer not to do that. I just wanted to bring it to the attention that there is an inspection problem.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good day, good day. My name's Todd Bcc. I'm here again. My name's Todd Bcc. I work for Palm Beach County Water Utilities. I'm also a union steward with CWA. We had a really good victory for our voting to recertify the union. So it's like 493 votes to 25, I think, or 25. And so even under low morale and a lot of stress as not being able to make ends meet in the county, we are staying unified and are going to press forward. Another thing that I want to just talk about is this reclassification. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, probably are, the reclassification of some of the people in water utilities, so license-driven in-house study. It's, and sitting in that meeting, to get compared to Pinellas County and different things like that were 10 to 20%, underpaid than Pinellas County, which is probably not the accurate county to compare us to, if you say you're Commissioner of Pinellas or Palm Beach County, which one would you want to go with, you know what I mean? But, it's good. It's a good start to get us where we need to be, and that takes care of some of the water utilities guys. We still have a lot of water utilities employees that are not license driven. And of course, we also have the other 800 employees that are struggling to make ends meet as well. One guy told me that, with all this developing going on and all these new homes and all the new taxpayers coming down here, why are we anchored to the floor? And the rising tide. Everything's increasing. This Green K project, I spoke about it a few months ago when I was here. I believe it's something like $150 million project, that really has no functional use except for educating the public about water. And it's just different projects like that. It brings morale down low for all of us that are out county workers working. But we just want to, ask you guys to check out the budget in the upcoming, because negotiations coming up here as the fiscal year comes to an end. So we just want to ask to see what you can do for us coming on in October. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Thane Lozman, 5101 North Ocean Drive. About 20 years ago, there was a working waterfront bond of which Riviera Beach took $5 million for their Riviera Beach Marina. And since that time, they basically quasi-privatized it. Even though it's a public marina, they gave it to a private entity to run it. And it's really just for rich boats, very expensive boats and rich people that want to use the facility. And what Riviera Beach has done is they keep expanding the marina to the west. And they also had 3 permanent mooring fields. One Palm Beach Island just got rid of. And they're congesting boats between Peanut Island, the Riviera Beach Marina, and up and down the intercoastal. I came here today to tell you that there's a problem. There's just too many boats, too densely packed, that sooner or later somebody's going to crash in and have a catastrophe in the middle of the night. Okay? Something needs to be done. There needs to be some oversight. Maybe it's the Sheriff's Marine Patrol. Maybe you have some kind of workshop, but there's too many boats that are being jammed in there, especially since the Riviera Beach Marina keeps expanding to the west. There's another problem, is that there's probably around 100 permanent moorings that have been placed in the sea bottom without a permit from the state of Florida or the Army Corps of Engineers. There's fights over if somebody goes away for the weekend in the Bahamas, they come back, somebody else is on their mooring boat. There's no such thing as a private mooring on state lands or in county waters. Somebody needs to actually go through and say, we're going to go through and we're going to remove those boats that are on permanent moorings that are unpermitted. You can get a guy for $2,500. We'll go down there and put a helical anchor and give you a permanent mooring. So I just think, driving my boat around there on a regular basis, I think it's a big problem. We need to deal with Riviera Beach, continually expand west. Riviera Beach is private mooring fields that they're putting in there. And these permanent anchors that have been put in there over the last few decades. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had 5 non-speaking cards, and that's all.
Okay, I think we're getting one more card.
Oh.
It's okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
2 more.
Hi.
Okay, Gianni Miller. And Yakan, is that you?
Hi. So what?
Your
Okay.
name, please?
Yakov. And I've spoken to a couple of commissioners already on this issue, but how is it possible?
I'm
that-
sorry, sir, your name, please?
Yakov,
Yakov, that's it? And your address?
San Salvador and Boca.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so I've spoken to a couple of commissioners already. I'm not sure how it's possible that in Florida, in Palm Beach County, the public bus system doesn't go to the beach. It used to for years, and I'm told now it doesn't. I've called the head of Palm Trans, the new director, the acting director when there wasn't the director. I don't have an answer why the bus wouldn't go. Okay, I'm sorry. I think they said if I go all the way maybe up to Lake Worth, it goes to the beach, but down in Boca, The bus originates from Mrs. Sachs' district, and it goes through my district, and doesn't go to the beach anymore. Why would that be the case, especially now in summer when you have kids that don't have licenses that want to go to the beach? I mean, Florida is the beach.
Thank you. This is not a question and answer period, but what we'll do is we'll make a note and we'll have Todd talk to the head of Palm Tran.
All right, and the other thing is, I've spoken to the mayors and commissioners. My phone number is blocked by the county. Every phone number but emergency.
Again, this is not question and answer, so I can't help you with that.
Well, it'd be nice
but-
if my commissioner would actually respond to me. It would be nice.
I don't know who your commissioner is, sir.
I believe it's Miss Woodward.
He says you haven't responded to him.
He responded to me once, but that was years ago.
Did we have a Zoom call a couple years ago?
Yes, I said, he responded to me once a couple of years ago.
I do recall you. I don't think we've had any recent
My phone,
communication from
well,
you.
because you don't answer my emails or phone calls, but my phone number's still blocked. I addressed you also about the beach issue, about the bus not going there. I don't get responses.
Okay, I will check with my staff, and I have your number right here. This
Yes,
is
you
your
do.
number? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. What agenda item is it? I'm sorry? Thank you. We'll note that on the card. B2. All righty, we have no more speaking cards. There are some non-speaking cards. Commissioner Wood will file those with the clerk. And so now we are back to the regular agenda, and that would be item 6B1, which is youth services, and staff is recommending motion to conceptually approve allocations for community-based agencies. And I'm sure we have a staff presentation. Would we like a staff presentation?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Tammy Fields, Assistant County Administrator. At the table is also Elisa Kramer, Ike Powell, Michelle Liska from Youth Services, and Helene Vizd and Jessica Bobber Rosenthal from the County Attorney's Office. And I wanted to note and thank Ms. Viz. This was her last board meeting as well. It seems to be a popular thing today. And before we get started, I also wanted to congratulate the Youth Services Department on their recent recertification in the sanctuary model of trauma-informed care. It just came in officially yesterday. And if the board wouldn't mind, I wanted to share one quote in the report, which was, "The balance of confidence and humility, the willingness to do hard things and be vulnerable, and the commitments to growth and change and social learning demonstrated by this team is what sets them apart from other organizations and supports their success in implementing and practicing the sanctuary model," which I thought was quite a great commendation to the department. We're here to be able to share the recommendations on the for the community-based agencies, and I'll turn it over to Elisa Kramer at this point.
Okay, before you do that, the Vice Mayor has her light on.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So it wasn't until yesterday that this list was brought to my attention and we had a meeting on it. And one of the things I had asked for last year when moving forward is that the Children's Services Council gets approximately $160 million a year in their own MSTU. And I wanted a breakdown of which of these are currently getting dollars from there, which ones are currently also getting dollars from the county. And I wanted to be able to compare the two and go through this list. And I wasn't given enough time to do that. I was brought to me, they were able to get it together. I asked for a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. They brought it to me at 9:18. As we all know, our meeting starts at 9:30. So I would like the support of my board to postpone this item to another day to give me more time to review it if that wouldn't be a problem. It is up to you if you'd still like to hear the presentation, but I would like that time if no one objects to that.
And would it be just 6B1, which is the youth services, or is it also community services?
I think for anything that would be a duplicate potentially for the Children's Services Council, and I believe that is mostly youth services unless I'm wrong.
It would just be youth services.
So yes, just youth services.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes, 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 that's what I was saying. I think that this is an important area. There's probably not many departments that are as important as yours, Tammy. And I think that I also had questions that I brought up yesterday in our agenda review, and I absolutely agree with the Vice Mayor that let's have some more time. Let's take a deeper dive into this. This is a lot of money going in. I want to make sure it's the right amount. Maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. But information is golden, and I absolutely concur with the proposal by the Vice Mayor.
Is there any time frame attached to this presentation?
The contracts are all to start on October 1st. This would be the conceptual approval and giving time to be able to negotiate with the agencies. If we moved it to the next agenda, we could probably still handle getting those contracts, but it'll be a much tighter time frame for staff to work on, I believe, 33 contracts, which is what would be necessary to start working on those contracts.
Well, considering that our board still has questions, I don't think that our board is willing to move on this in the way of making a decision without having all the information. And I agree with the Vice Mayor. I mean, these questions were asked last year. So this information should have been given to us before that. So I'm just saying.
And respectfully, last year after the meeting, we did provide information. We did not get the information for this year. It's somewhat comparing apples to oranges right now because the Children's Services Council has not made all of its determinations for next year, where we're making our recommendations for next year's budget. So it's hard to compare apples to apples right now, but we will give time. We provided the information this morning. Well, we provided late last night, but we provided all of the information as far as the amounts that the Children's Services Council is funding for each of these agencies.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, your light is still on.
I didn't turn it off, but just to comment on that, I mean, even if you had to provide last year's numbers to this year's, I think those are numbers that we need to see going forward in a side-by-side comparison of these organizations and who's getting money from where. Is it both? Is it one entity? Is it two? And the Children's Services Council is also working on their budget, so I'm not sure why we are on different cycles as far as those numbers being available. Would you happen to know why?
The Board of County Commissioners process takes a little bit longer than the Children's Services Council as far as going through the process of getting all of the contracts.
And forgive me, but wouldn't that mean they already have theirs done?
No, because they don't need to get the authorization. They do the full budget versus.
What I'm saying is
we
you
have
said
to
you don't
bring
have
the
access
next-
to those numbers.
We don't have access to their numbers yet. Correct.
And they're not available because Lisa didn't provide them?
I believe that there was going to be certain recommendations regarding some of these agencies that were also funded by youth services at the last CSC meeting, but they did not have a quorum for their last meeting, so they were not able to hold that meeting and that item.
All right, thank you. And again, I'm just asking for time to properly go through these numbers.
Thank you.
Would you like us to bring it back at the workshop or the August meeting? August meeting?
I have, you know what? Before we decide, there's several more lights on, so let's hear from the rest of the board. Thank you. Commissioner Sacks, your light is on.
Reiterate, this is Children's Services. We need to know the full picture. And like I said, it could be more money, could be less money, I don't know. So get us the information. If there's an issue with your ability to get us the information, let us know. We'll work with you on this. But this is a very important part of what we do in this county. And so I absolutely agree with the Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. My first question would be, did all of us get a copy of this report, or?
No, because I asked for it yesterday to compare the two. Oh, okay, it was sent to everyone.
When was that? Oh, last night,
This-
okay.
Yes, last night.
Okay, then I would be
10 o'clock
supportive
last-
because
10 o'clock last night.
I admit I was asleep before that, so I had an early night last night, so I didn't see this, so I would support that. And I would just like to add, because in my meeting with you yesterday, we had a lot of discussion about the need for us to do some data tracking on patients who go through, or our clients who go through these services. And I think that this is kind of raising a bit of an alarm that it's also tracking on the flip side of it too. So not just that we're watching and making sure that people are, one, being served and we're not having a lot of duplication of services, but also that they're not falling into gaps where, we treat them, they get better, and then they go away and come back 6 months from now, really so much worse. But we also need to be tracking the money that's going into this, so we're not also duplicating where we don't need to. So we can maybe spread the love a little more, if possible. So I do support this. I would like time to look at it as well. And I would like to add that as part of it's a big ask for I think it's, what did you call it, CRISIC system, the data tracking system. Sorry?
The CARES data system.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember that word, but whatever the tracking system is, because it's meant to follow people. But I think we need to also follow the dollars. So I support this.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores.
So I have two comments. The first one regarding the postponement. I want it to be time or date certain, because I don't want it at the workshop. So I would like it to be at the first regular meeting. So that's.
That'll be the middle of August. Otherwise, Commissioner Sachs? Or Commissioner Flores, were you done?
No, I want to make sure that if I am going to vote for something, I know exactly when it's going to come back, and I don't want it to be at the workshop, because I am not going to be here at the workshop. So I want to be able to have this discussion with everyone, because what I'm hearing is some of the questions that I was asking yesterday at my briefing, and the answer that I received, a little conflicting, was that this was set by the board. But that's not what I'm hearing from the board right now. So I want to make sure that I am present. And unfortunately, I booked this vacation with my kids over 6 months ago, and I'm not going to be able to make the changes in time when we were supposed to address this today. So I'm asking that if we are going to move it backwards, I am here for that meeting.
And Madam Mayor, if I could just clarify, the process and the areas that we're funding were all set by the Board of County Commissioners approximately 10 years ago. That was the process that was established, as well as the process of having our priority areas tied to the youth master plan, which has been submitted as well to the board. But yes, we'll bring it back in August.
It really sounds like there's actually more information you should be bringing back to us, not just the comparisons, but basically, as you said, this was set by a board 10 years ago, which obviously none of us were here 10 years ago. So a little history would be good when you're doing your presentation, or you could meet with us individually before that. Commissioner Sachs.
August is not close, is not acceptable. You've got a lot of work to do, Dr. Fields. 10 years ago, don't even talk to me about 10 years ago and policy by the board. It's a new day. It's a new day. And I'd like to meet with y'all individually, or your directors, whoever you designate, Doctor. So And I think these are legitimate concerns, and they're serious concerns. So let's set a date if we can, Mr. Von Laren. But August is, we got 2 weeks off the beginning of August, so we're going to jump right into this in the third, fourth week. Mr. Von Laren, can we set a date certain so that we all know that we can be here on that date?
I am happy to set this for the August 19th meeting, which is about 6 weeks away. I do think that gives us enough time to get the data and the information that the board has requested. I know a lot of it we've got. It's just kind of putting some of those pieces together for you. And I think that, you know, if for some reason we don't have an opportunity to brief every commissioner individually to share some of that information with you, and we're, you know, 2 weeks out from that 19th date, I don't mind delaying it another meeting. But I think just if we want to keep this moving along and we want to move to the contract stage, which is when that begins in October, we've got to provide ample time from getting the board direction to be able to put those contracts in order and bring them back to the BCC in a timely manner.
I respect that. It's just that the first 2 weeks in August is vacation for, we're closed
Yeah.
for the Board of County Commissioners. We have 2 weeks left in July. This is too important. Is there any reason why we can't put it in early September?
It's just a matter of timing to be able to get all of the contracts prepared for them to begin on October 1st. And these agencies really, all of these agencies that are currently funded, their contracts will expire on September 30th, and they are counting on the funds going
I
forward.
bet they
So-
are. I bet they are counting on the funds. So they'll be ready. We need to get that information first before we get them the funds. So, and with innovation today, I'm sure that won't be a concern that you could get that information to each one of us. 10 p.m. last night is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So let's move forward, and if we can, Mr. Von Laren, if we could set this for early September, unless there's some exigent circumstances that we have to set it in August, I think we would all be prepared to review these. These are important.
We also have a workshop at the end of August, too, that we can
Lot of
move
work
on
on
that
that,
one,
yeah.
which is a week after the 19th on the 26th.
Okay.
What is on our
So-
August workshop so far?
I don't think we have much on the August workshop agenda. Give me 1 second.
That won't take us all day, though.
We have, I'm sorry. On the August workshop, we have the septic to sewer overview from Water Utilities, and then we're going to be bringing back the tri-rail item as well. We can add this to the agenda, and that should give us sufficient time to
Why don't we
work through
Why
those
don't we
3 items
schedule this
there.
on the August workshop? Joel, you'll be here?
Sounds
Okay,
good.
good.
Sounds good.
I think we'll have a quorum, so I think this is an important item. I don't want to push it to September because
Yeah.
we've got enough that we need to do. So let's, if it's okay with the board, we'll move this to the August 26th, but I'm sure I need a motion and a second in order to do that.
Mayor, I move that we table this item until August 22nd.
Workshop.
26th.
Okay, so a motion.
26th. Let's
26th.
clarification. So is it on the 26th, the
Yes.
workshop?
August
Okay, so I
26th.
move that we're, this item to the August 26th workshop.
So I have a motion and a second, and I'd like to do some clarification on the 26th, which is the workshop date. This will be a regular agenda item. It will come first before the other two presentations. Okay? So I had a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Sacks. All in favor, all opposed?
Aye.
See that that motion carries 7-0. Oh, I apologize. We have cards. We have speaking cards, and I know that we're going to ask those folks, yes, we're going to ask those folks to come and speak because we don't want to be seen as doing something that we weren't supposed to be doing. So we do have cards. Now, since you know that we're postponing, you can keep your comment, you can say your comments today, or you can bring your comments for that day, or if you're just here to answer questions, we're going to ask our questions again on August 26th. So if you want to read the cards and see if they'd like to speak, or if they want to wait and speak on August 26th, that would be fine.
So to be clear, is this just 6B1?
This is just 6B1.
6B1. Okay, 6B1, we had Dr. Connie Sikowski, Glenn Mueller, Ben Dexter, and Kathy Benson, if you would like to speak.
If you want to speak on the 26th of August, we're happy to have you back then. Is that good?
I think many of them,
Might have already left. Okay. Thank you for reminding me that we have non-speaking cards. We'll just give these to the clerk. And now we're going to move on to 6B2, which we do also have cards on 6B2.
Actually, I think we don't have a B2.
Yep. No, we don't have a B2. We have a C. We have a C. 6C1 is the next one, which is community services.
Johnny Bollier, did you want to speak on this item? I think the D2.
Commissioner Flores, you have a question?
I'm going to ask that we do the same thing for item 6C1.
I think it only makes sense
We
if
have
we
two
do,
cards
if you
on that.
want to. I just wasn't sure if the whole board wanted to do that as well.
Are we running into timeframes with 6C1 different than we did from?
it's the same concerns as far as timeframes. It's a lot of contracts for staff to be able to prepare in a short period of time, but we'll make it work.
We have 3 cards.
Okay, we have 3 speaking cards. Would you folks like? Who are they?
Linda Charles, Kasha Thomas, I'm sorry, and Stephanie Thompson.
We're going to move this to the August 26th meeting. Would you like to speak now or speak then? Okay.
Good afternoon, Linda Charles, 218 Boynton Beach, Florida, 33426. I work with Community Partners of South Florida. I'd like to speak on the C61 and the Securing Our Future program. We've been running this program for the past 3 years, even more than that, so for the past 5 years. I want to just state that having the opportunity to work with a household, mostly female head of household, earning 200% at the poverty level or 50% of the AMI, or $30,000 or less, making minimum wage, with children 17 and younger, is one of the most important things I've done in my career. To see someone that come in with maybe no job, for them to get the skill building set to get a job, and to be able to afford an apartment and feed their family. So I think this program is one of the important programs for self-sufficiency and even for people to dream of economic mobility, because there are 2 different things. Self-sufficiency, you can able to pay your bills, but economic mobility, you actually can, you're able to afford to live somewhere. And in Palm Beach County, living in an apartment has becoming increasingly difficult and if not impossible. So I really would like to see if we can advance this agenda item, at least to consider that if we don't approve this by October 1st, many people are going to be left out of this great Palm Beach County. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that looks like the last of our cards. So I'll need a motion to postpone this again. Postpone this item?
Do you want to make the motion? I'll second, or?
I'll make the motion to postpone to August
26?
26th.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 6-0, and it'll be the same. It will be a part of the regular meeting at the beginning of the agenda. Okay. We are now on item 6D2, considering we've moved other items about. And so this is, staff is recommending a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with the City of Green Acres. Does anyone need a presentation?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and I have a card. Johnny, we'll go give you 3 minutes, and we'll actually, before we do that, hold on a sec. Let's let staff take their seats.
Well, thank you, commissioners. I just wanted to let you know on behalf of the City of Green Acres how appreciative we are of the partnership with the Chickasaw Road, both the improvements and now this annexation. It's a small area, but it does mean a lot to the city and the area residents, so we're grateful for that partnership, and we're looking forward to continuing the efforts for the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. Commissioner Flores, your light is on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously I made the motion, but we have made a major, and when I say we, in my previous role as mayor, we made major improvements to that area. We took a road that was essentially a dirt road. We piped the canal, and we provided an essential road to all those residents. So I think this is fitting that this now occurs. So thank you.
Would you like to make the motion? May I have a second? I have a first from Commissioner Flores, a second from Commissioner Sacks. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Okay, we took airports already. Now we're on 6F1, first amendment to the interlocal agreement with the town of Hypoluxo. Does anybody need a presentation?
Second.
Do we have any cards? Okay, I don't think we need a staff presentation. We have a motion from Commissioner Woodward, a second from from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 7-0. We are now on item 6F2, where staff is looking for a motion to authorize negotiating a development and conveyance agreement with Habitat for Humanities. Commissioner Sacks, your light is on.
Thank you. I have a question. It's the same question that I asked at the agenda review, and that is there any funding here for those who are homeless?
You're looking at 6G1. I think we're in 6F2.
We're on 6F2.
I'm
This is
sorry.
Habitat. This is where Habitat is
Oh,
going.
not at all. I think it's great, and I'll make the motion. How's that?
I got a lot of people wanting to make a second on this one. So Commissioner Sacks made the motion. We'll give Commissioner Flores the second on this one. We'll give Vice Mayor Baxter the third. Any discussion? Sure, go ahead.
I just want to commend staff for doing this. I think when you guys first initially identified this as a potential way to increase inventory in the county, you ran into some roadblocks and you got creative in how you guys went about this. So I just want to say thank you for thinking outside the box. Thank you for reaching out to a nonprofit to see if they could do it at a lesser price. So I want to thank you guys.
I'd like to say thank you also. Habitat is one of my favorite local charities. I even jumped off a building in support of Habitat. So, yeah, that was fun. Anybody else want to do that? They're more than welcome to.
I think you were part of that. I think you were part of that. I think you were part of the building, weren't you, Mayor?
No.
No?
But Habitat has a huge record of
You
success
did.
in our
Commissioner
community.
Woodward did. Okay.
We've
Wonderful.
all done, many of us have done the builds where we've volunteered for a day and gotten really dirty and moved sod and painted houses and all for a great cause. And Habitat does a wonderful thing in our community. And not only they have a veterans build, they have a woman's build. So everything that Habitat does, and I think they're able to deliver this at a much less cost, that's not correct English, my mother would yell at me, at a lower cost than we are, because they have agencies and organizations that volunteer their time, volunteer their services, volunteer their equipment, volunteer materials. So they're able to do this at a cost that we weren't able to do. So I know we had a motion, a second, a third. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Okay. Now we are on to 6G1. This is a motion to adopt the county's consolidated plan for fiscal years 2025 through 2029, and so on and so on. I like this when it says No local match. Anyway, would the board like a presentation? Anyone need a presentation? No? Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to approve this item, which is, okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Flores. I have a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 7-0. We are on to item 6G2, a motion to execute a certification by state or local official. Does anybody need a presentation? Commissioner Sachs has a question on item 6G2.
Okay, Mr. Brown, are you the speaker for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very simple question, and that's the last line of 6G2. How and what efforts is staff, that is county, doing to deconcentrate public housing in the county? And what does that mean? But first, tell us what you are doing to deconcentrate affordable housing units in the county.
So, great question, Commissioners. So, Jonathan Brown, Department of Housing and Economic Development. So the item we're bringing before you, Commissioner, and I'll jump into the response to your question, is confirming that the Pahokie's housing authorities, that their plan is consistent with the county's 5-year consolidated plan, which was the item prior to this plan. So we're confirming that they are providing services that will address affordable housing for the low-income population, and the public housing authorities will have their plans on how they will deconcentrate. So one thing that you will see is that some will offer tenant-based vouchers, some will offer project-based vouchers, some will work with municipalities and other private developers to ensure that they're not concentrating all of their affordable housing in one location.
What was that location, Pahokie?
This particular public housing authority is Pahokee.
And where are you going to concentrate other areas of public housing other than Pahokie, sir?
So that would be a great question for the Pahokee Housing Authority. Again, and they have the ability to provide, I'm not an expert on public housing authorities, but the Public Housing Authority has their jurisdiction, their areas that they work in, and in some instances, I believe when the housing authorities presented before the board last year, they talked about coordinating with other public housing authorities and working outside of those jurisdictions.
I just don't, I'm sorry, I don't understand. This is county. We're talking about a county plan, and why are you saying that, and never mind. I'll get into it at a later date. Thanks, Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
You want me to say something about that? I won't at this time. I'll take care of it later.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff? Would someone like to make a motion?
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. We have deleted item 6H1. We are now on to Office of Financial Management and Budget. We are here to set the not-to-exceed millage rate. Yoo-hoo! Woohoo! Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. So, before you is our agenda item today, primarily to submit our proposed not-to-exceed millage rate for the FY 2026 budget year, as well as some additional authorizations on some adjustments that are throughout the item, and then also the adoption of our financial policies for Palm Beach County. We do have a brief presentation that just wanted to go quickly through, if that's okay.
Yep.
And then also, I distributed again the memo that I sent out about a week and a half ago to you on your desk, and I wanted to just briefly follow up on that because those included answers to questions that the board had from our June 10th workshop, and then it reflects some of the direction that we've been providing in the PowerPoint that's we're going to present to you today. So if we can, going to the tentative budget summary information, just wanted to highlight our public hearing dates that will be forthcoming. Their first public hearing, September 9th, and then September 16th for the second public hearing and adoption, both of those taking place at 5:05 p.m. The millage rates that we are recommending, and that is based on the balanced budget that we've previously presented to the Board of County Commissioners, include a millage rate of 4.5 county-wide, 0.5491 for library, 3.4581 for fire rescue MSTU, and Jupiter Fire MSTU 1.7251 for an aggregate millage rate of 6.2862. And then also our millage rates for our countywide voted debt at 0.0330, and then our library voted debt, which is at 0.0. Give you a bit of some of the summary of changes since we met in June. First and foremost, our additional property values that the property appraiser provided to us on July the 1st. We are picking up an additional $6,532,930 in some of our additional property values as reported to us from the property appraiser's office. Also, as part of that was an increase to the CRAs of $204,480. The reduction in parks revenue supplemental, and I'll get to that in a little more detail on the back end of the presentation, is roughly $76,000. That was what the BCC directed us to look in on some of the not-for-profits that we were talking about on our park facility supplementals. And then the decrease in major revenues net of statutory reserves. So this item is one where we worked with, we spoke a little bit earlier when we had our legislative update to you. The $4.275 million is what was included as part of the budget tax package from the legislature, and that was related to our half-cent sales tax revenue share as well as our state shared revenues to get to that number, which gives us an increase in general fund reserves of $1,977,450. Just to go on in page 6, our ad valorem tax and millage rate. You can see this shows our countywide library, Maine Fire MSTU, and Jupiter Fire MSTU, what that would generate in taxes per millage rate that we provided to you, and also the change in the amount across the board. The next page is a summary of our general obligation bonds. That is the refunding of the portion of the outstanding Series 2006 from our waterfront access bonds, as well as the taxable general obligation bond related to workforce and affordable housing projects for the cum total of .0330 for our general obligation debt. On page 8, this again, you've seen this before, but the history of change in property tax and millage rates. As you can see, in 2022, we were at 4.7815. The board reduced that to 4.715 in 2023, and then in 24 to 4.5, which is where we've been since that point. Page 9, just a millage rate impact on homestead property. We just took a median assessed value of a property of $218,781 for the tentative FY26, applying a homestead exemption to give you the mean taxable value of $168,059, and then what that meant in terms of operating and voted debt for that median assessed value home of $761.82 for FY26. On this page, on 10, we just give you once again what the millage rate impact is to different property values based on a $385,000, $500,000, and $1 million property. And you can see the 4.5 mils applied There's roughly a difference of about $46.79 for a $385,000 home. When you get up to $1 million, it's a little over $126 in the difference from FY '25 to '26. So as we look towards the future, as we look towards the future and funding budget issues, this again lays out our maximum millage rate, where we are in terms of rollback and what rollback is. And Sherry, if you wanted to explain just a little bit more on slide 12, please.
Sure. So this is a calculation that's required under the state. Our maximum millage rate is 4.4326, so we're slightly higher than that. So it does require a supermajority vote. Based on our estimates for next year, we would be the same, but by year 2028, if we maintain the same millage rate, we would be under and go back to just a regular majority vote.
Okay. Moving on to page 13, this summarizes the memo that I presented to you on June the 30th. And in that, at the back of that memo, we talked about a couple of the items that the Board of County Commissioners brought up and asked us to take a look at the future. The first of those was what we're requesting to include as part of the '26 budget today, and that's the park supplemental revenue reduction for youth sports. And we did a more deep dive analysis on page 2 of the memo that we provided to you in Parks to just show you how those fees were broken down based on some of the different sports facilities that we have. But that revenue reduction for youth sports was about $76,000. So we're requesting that that be included today. The reason why the other requests were not included, and with a caveat, were based on the change in our tax situation with the state of Florida in terms of our revenue sharing versus what some of our new revenue was. We thought in the similar fashion where we're bringing back to you the sheriff's request at the mid-year adjustment, we should pick up some additional dollars in that mid-year adjustment. While we do have estimates from the state of what those impacts of the tax cuts will be to us, it would be nice from a staff perspective and probably also from a board perspective to see in actuality how those changes come in through the first quarter of the next fiscal year. And that being said, we would recommend bringing back the 4 requests for the Riverbend Park supplemental, which was about $126,000 increase in one position. The plan for the PBSO Park supplemental request. And just so you know, we've been working with Eric Coleman at PBSO on some revised proposals that he's provided to us, which is roughly about half of what the initial proposal was, and we're still working through those components. The animal care and control positions that were talked about, as well as some human resource training. And it was just our recommendation that we can bring that back mid-year to make those adjustments and have that discussion at that point. And then the final component, just on a new request, I know that Commissioner Woodward had asked a new request on Boca Helping Hands and wanted to have the opportunity to discuss that at today's meeting or at a future meeting. That was for $150,000. It's not included in the budget, but we wanted to put it there as a placeholder so that you can have that conversation amongst the board on that request. And that is a summary of our proposal that we've brought before you today, and it still remains with this a balanced budget at the millage rate that we are recommending approval on this agenda item. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, who's going first? Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just start. I had a couple of questions in my agenda review yesterday that I think you've been able to answer. One, I was questioning the second bookmobile for the library. I need more information on that. We just got one, I believe, last year. We're adding another one. Could you
Correct.
tell me the answers that you found?
Yes, ma'am. So, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, the bookmobile that we've requested this year in the budget is our second bookmobile. Last year, we were authorized and we purchased a new bookmobile because the current one we have is past its useful life. That initial one was purchased with funding from the Friends of the library system. So we've got the replacement that should be coming in very soon, delivered before the end of this year, maybe sooner. The second one is going to give us an opportunity, and it's a very popular service that we have. I think we've got a schedule that's online. It goes in a 2-week revolving schedule, week A and week B. That changes every 6 months. Seasonally, we do that because some of our locations are much more active during one part of the year than others are in the other part of the year. It allows us a number of different things. One, to get out to communities where they might not have as much access or easy access to a branch of a library. It allows us to get books that they've requested in those locations, and even more so just to kind of get some farther reach throughout the county, just from a coverage perspective. The addition of the second bookmobile is going to allow us to continue to do that, to provide even more coverage, because we're getting a lot of good feedback and it's a very popular service that we provide. And then also looking at some technological upgrades in this second one that will allow us to introduce some more components, for example, in our online collection that individuals can utilize from inside the bookmobile in their communities if they don't have access to that. So that is the sort of general on the request for that second bookmobile. And I know Doug Crane is with us as well, if he wanted to add anything in addition to that.
Okay,
certainly
it's
could defer
in the
to that.
supplemental request, there's 3 asks from the library. This is one, a second bookmobile. $400,000 to do a Palm Beach Post back file, which, as I understand, the microfilms are barely being able to use. This is to put them online or scan them so that we keep them? Is that just digitizing this?
Yeah, so this is one that allows us to sort of buy the entire content of the Palm Beach Post archive. The Palm Beach Post doesn't own their files in their archive. They don't have ownership of that. So this fee allows us to be able to have that in perpetuity, so that for individuals that come to our Palm Beach County Library System have access to the history of all of the Palm Beach Post back to its inception of that, and then moving forward, we would own that collection as part of our inventory of research that we have. But yeah, that's just the fact that
It's digitized, it's not going to be
digitized.
like.
Right, we're not going to get a bunch of newspapers delivered to us and stacked up. It's digitized.
Yeah. And then also $500,000 for an increase in e-content, which, I know that service is probably, that's well utilized, and this is just to expand
Yes.
the variety of what we have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a bit of a problem with the second bookmobile. I would like to have some more information on usership, and
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot. These other 2 make a lot of sense to me. They're digitized, it's accessible countywide, but I mean, like the rest of the board, would you like to weigh in on this one? I have another
We're happy to bring back some more data for you on the second bookmobile if you like. I know Doug and I have spoken about that, and they can compile basically our users by location. And we also have a lot of comments as well from our users that we document too, and we can provide some of the anecdotal information to you as well as just the hard, raw data on that.
I know
also.
that Vice Mayor Baxter has a comment on this. Commissioner Flores, do you have a comment also on the bookmobile?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'll make it brief. So the library has its own MSTU. The bookmobile dollars, are they coming out of that
Yes,
fund?
yes,
So not out of regular,
correct.
Ad valorem,
Those
and
are
it
out
is-
of libraries, ad valorem, MSTU.
just making sure. Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. But that is an MSTU that we vote on, that goes on the
That's
tax
correct.
roll as well, so,
Correct.
okay.
Yes.
On page 30, we have the county attorney. I didn't ask about this yesterday. There was a request for a billing rate increase, and I see that this was last done in 2007. Could you answer what the question, or what you were requesting here?
Sure. The billing rate is really mostly used for departments. For example, trying to think who we bill. Engineering perhaps has some billable hours, and we actually send an inter-office bill to them, and then they will budget and pay that charge for us. One of the reasons I asked for an increase is because when we're calculating our value to the board, and we have $150 an hour versus going rates of $5.50, $6.50 an hour. Looks ridiculous. We also get attorneys to pay us our attorney's fees and costs and litigation, and we track those hours. So when we say that our billable rate is $150 an hour, we're not recovering the kind of money that we should be recovering. So it's a matter of budgeting the increased costs, and the money's kind of get budgeted by the department that will be charged by us, and we reflect the increased revenue in our revenue side. It's what we call billable departments. But the main thing I was concerned with is there's been no increase since forever, and it's not realistic. And even the amounts that we raised to were only a very, very partial raise, because the departments do have to do a corresponding budget increase to reflect our increased rates. So we do keep hours, we do keep times, and we wanted to make sure that we were a little bit more accurate.
And to be clear, and for the rest of the board, this is on page 30 of the supplemental request. You have different rates for different departments. Is that just based on?
It's based on the technicality of the department, and it's based on what they were being charged and what they should be charged.
And to be clear, there are times where we could recoup these dollars.
That's correct.
At the end of litigation.
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to hear from the rest of the board. This seemed like something that we should do. If it hasn't, I mean, it's been almost 20 years since there's been a rate increase.
I believe that the budget does reflect that, but I would ask budget to weigh in on that.
We'd have to do the course.
Oh, it was not approved.
It was not approved.
And maybe it wasn't approved because they didn't have sufficient time to get the other departments on board to increase their budgets.
So when we discuss this in management team, the issue here is that in order to provide the billing rate increase to county attorney, we have to offset the revenue with our other user departments by a like number, so $413,000, because these are what we call as our interfund transfers that we have when you look at that larger, where dollars are exchanging from one department to another for fees for services that we provide to one another. This is an example of doing that. So if we move in that direction to do that, then for airports, community services, libraries, HED, engineering, fire rescue, building and risk, we'd have to put a corresponding either ad valorem or some other funding source that is able to meet that revenue increase need in those corresponding departments.
But they are using the service now and have been.
They are using the service, and they have been using the service. They've just been doing it at a different rate than what is proposed here.
Okay, well, I think that we should do this. If it's not something that we can do in this cycle, I think it definitely should be considered in the next budget cycle, and these numbers should be more reflective of the market.
Yeah, just to be clear, this doesn't impact our salaries. It doesn't impact it impacts our operating budget slightly. But this is interfund transfer, so it goes from engineering to us and then uses to pay our operating budget, so.
Okay.
I'm happy to get with the county attorney on this and see, we can talk through this, and if it's something we can work on for this cycle, we'll do it. If it's something we need to defer, we can come back and let you know that.
Before Commissioner Woodward asks another question, something interesting that you said. So if we are in a lawsuit and we are recovering fees, we're recovering fees based on this lower amount of money.
We can, yes. We can also tell them that the going rate is $450 an hour, and we have an expert testify, but we're in a little bit of a tricky situation if somebody asks to see what our internal policies are, and our internal policy says that we're worth $150 an hour. So we would like to be more consistent.
So in the long run, an increase in this rate is also helpful in an increase of what we might recover
That's
when
correct.
we are wrongfully sued.
And that's kind of where my concern is. We need to be consistent. We need to be able to have the documentation that's the same thing that our expert is saying. If we're saying that, it's $150 an hour, how do I
Justify 400.
Right, and my answer is going to be that the board hasn't addressed it in 20 years.
I think we'll address it.
Okay.
Commissioner Woodward, you still had some questions?
Yeah, unless anyone wanted to pipe in on that item.
I do. Okay, Commissioner Flores?
To me, this seems like a obvious decision that should be made because we're leaving money on the table. And it seems like it's a policy issue considering it's a fixed cost. Because no matter what, the amount of hours are going to go in, whether we bill it to one department or not. So I think this is something that needs to be solved, because if we're leaving money on the table, it makes no sense. And I don't know too many attorneys that charge $150 an hour. So I think we have to figure out something here that, you know, maybe they don't bill another department because that's gonna mess their budget up. But we shouldn't. I mean, I think we should be at a higher rate when we recoup some of these fees.
How does it financially, what's the fiscal impact? Because if we're doing this, it seems almost like it's just a note on a page as opposed to a fiscal impact.
It really isn't a fiscal impact because we have a set budget. We budget a certain revenue to come in based on expectations from the past, that we expect our revenue from the departments that we bill to be $200,000. And we get that revenue and we're authorized to spend that revenue. If I collect $300,000 and it's not in my budget, then I'm not going to be able to spend it. So it really is an inter-fund movement of funds. My budget is set. I get to spend that budget wherever the money comes from, unless the money is restricted in some way.
Yeah.
And no, we can make changes to what are billable departments. That's entirely up to the board, as far as I know. Todd probably could talk about that.
Yeah.
So where does the 413,000 come from?
Okay, that comes from planning and zoning. It comes from whoever we bill. So Solid Waste Authority pays us, people pay us for our services. And frankly, we don't bill anywhere near what we should be billing these departments. People feel bad for them. For instance, you know, they feel like we're hitting their budget. We don't want to hit their budget. So, you know, we spend 8 hours doing a contract, we bill for 4.
Yeah, depending on the department, whether you have a department where it would hit the general fund versus hit an enterprise fund, the math would be a little bit different from an accounting perspective. So we can work and put those pieces together for you and show you what that looks like.
But that attorney, sorry to interrupt,
No, go
but
ahead.
that attorney is
We're all-
gonna get, that attorney's already getting paid. That position's already been budgeted. So it's just an inner transfer. So
Right.
essentially, we're leaving money on the table and the county's still paying that person's hours.
Right. I mean, it's not, it doesn't change how much I'm paying my attorneys, even though,
That's already budgeted.
that's correct.
Okay.
And
It
again,
feels
this
like this
is
is a
not-
policy issue.
I'm sorry, yes. This is not ad valorem dollars that we're talking about.
The county attorney is an ad valorem funded department, so they have their full budget, and then they charge off to other departments and outside agencies, like you said, Solid Waste Authority, or if there's a lawsuit, we could use these for that. So that's why we should look at maybe increasing the rates for those kind of things. But charging off to an internal department, it doesn't really add anything, or we didn't pick up any money, because I always say it's taking a quarter out of my right pocket and putting it in my left pocket. I still have a quarter, you know, so it's some charge-offs and things like that. But, you know, it's when we have to charge outside agencies where this would come into effect.
So let me rephrase then. The 413,000 it is not an ad valorem impact. To be clear, because
It could be a partial one, because if some of this 413 was for outside agencies, then we would get some additional. So I think we could do the billing right now. You can change your billing without ever doing anything in the budget. And if you collect more money from outside agencies, then we picked up additional revenues in the general fund. Does that make sense?
Excuse me, but you're saying in here that the county attorney's office is not a revenue-generating department, and it shouldn't be. So really, this is really not doing anything except giving you more work, because it really has nothing to do with their value or their actual billing ability. I mean, 150, 200, this is just something that we don't need anymore. I think that's what, I don't think, and I think the person who should be answering this is our county attorney. They're not a revenue, and it says right here, the county attorney is not a revenue-generating department, period.
That is a.
So let's hear from the county attorney and see what she says about this meaningless quarter in the left pocket, quarter in the right pocket. I
That
want
is-
$1 on the board, right?
Very
So let's see
astute
what's
of
going
you, Commissioner Sachs, because we actually prepare bills, and we send bills to the departments, and the bills have to be prepared and printed out and reviewed, and then, you know, it's one from the left pocket to the right. It is just administrative work as far as we go, and I'm sure as far as the department goes.
Can we do,
I could not answer that. I could not answer that.
can we do without? Can we do without this?
I can do without it for sure, as
And we
long as
could-
I don't lose that budgeted money in
Right.
my budget.
We
No,
could
no,
look at
let's-
some other models, Commissioner, like a cost allocation model that we do as opposed to a billing model, and maybe bring back some different options that might, but
Why is that even necessary? I'm confused. Why would we try to allocate a certain amount to planning and zoning and a certain amount to engineering? We are the county attorney's office.
Yes.
We serve everybody. Does it matter if I spend all day on engineering or all day in planning and zoning?
I noticed that there wasn't anything here for county commissioners.
Only if you need
I'd go
accounting for
there,
a
I'd
lawsuit.
go there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Mayor, and thank you for giving me this few minutes, but I think it's really up to the person who heads the department as to whether this, and thank you, Commissioner Woodward, for bringing it up. I didn't even see this. But I don't think, I think it's rather meaningless, and it's administrative overload for your department. Lawyers are expensive, and this is one area you don't need to really handle. So I'm going to leave it up, I mean, I'll go with whatever the head of the department says, basically.
Commissioner Powell, you have a question on this one?
I do. Thank you so kindly for calling on me. Two questions. This budget, this interfund transfer, we're saying it's from one quarter from one pocket to the other. The bill is prepared. Is there a check, an inter-office check that's prepared, or is it just like, hey, we sent you a bill and magically,
No,
we're not going to really send the money, but
it's all done through a journal entry, just an accounting entry. And so it's not like it's an invoice that goes and a check is written and transferred back and forth between departments. Correct?
Okay.
No? You do write a check? Okay.
If I may, good afternoon, Scott Marting, Director of Risk Management for Palm Beach County. It is a little bit different when it comes to risk management, in that these invoices that we get for whether it's a county attorney, whether it's a paralegal, whatever it may be, those go in and they are actually part of the claim, and that helps us arrive at the total cost of a claim, which we do track. I do have an endorsement to our liability policy that does allow us to recover some of our county attorney fees in the event we hit certain levels as compared to like the sovereign immunity cap and what our maximum exposure would be. But those invoices are vital to what we do. You know, we have cost allocations back to the departments. The county attorney has an amount they bill us annually, and then that becomes part of anything that's covered under our liability policy, for example, or anything that's covered under our policies would be covered under the insurance, and then we have cost allocations back to the departments for that. So I would say at 100,000-foot level, it's very simple. We probably don't need those invoices, but if you really drill down, those invoices are essential for my group to be able to properly look at the total cost of claims, to be able to work with our underwriters to purchase coverages, to be able to sit in front of you all and say, hey, this is what it's going to cost us in the coming years for insurance and those type of things. So I just wanted to bring that out, and it just mentioned that it's while it seems simple, there's other components to it.
Scott, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here as well. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. As a follow-up to that,
Sure.
when we're talking, and this is separate and aside, but more than likely know the answer. If our county attorney's office loses a case, at what rate is the county paying out attorney's fees? Are we paying at our rate, or are we paying at?
No, we're paying at the rate that the court will allow the attorneys to bill at. So, like Denise said, certainly it would be beneficial to us, to have a higher rate to be able to recoup monies in the event we're successful in some type of litigation. But in answer to your question, if we were unfortunate enough to lose a case, then the court would decide at what's allowable as an expense to be recouped by the attorneys.
Thank you so kindly.
Commissioner Woodward, you weren't not done, so look what you started.
Yay. On page 60, because we've had the discussion, this is Parks and Recreation, sand volleyball court maintenance. And in here, it mentions that they're heavily used by both recreation and competitive players. And since we just put in a charge on the ball fields, I was wondering, is this one that we're considering? I remember Commissioner Flores had brought up any competitive or anyone who's making money off of our fields would be a part of paying for that service. Is this one that's going to be added as well?
I'll ask Jennifer to come up and defer to her on the answer to that one. I'm not certain.
Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner. Thank you for your question. In Administrator Bonlaren's memo that he gave you, it does reference that direction that the board gave last meeting. We will not be charging at all of our courts. We want to make sure some are open and accessible and free to the public, but we are designating particularly those competitive volleyball courts that we'll be upgrading, that we can charge a fee if groups want to reserve them together. And so you'll see in his memo, it's a modest fee of $25 an hour for the group, or $50 on the weekend, which is much lower than some of our comparable municipalities. I know many of you hear from a volleyball constituent in South County who uses Coconut Creek volleyball courts, and he claims they charge $250 an hour, and he's happy to pay it because they all split it that are playing on there. So our fees are modest. We are going to charge at some courts, but not all of them. We're going to keep some that are just open for people to stop by and play.
Okay, all right, thank you. And then just two more on page 88. Okay, and this one, like 2/3 of the way down, the sentence says, "The pre-qualification process is time-consuming for the department procurement staff as it requires multiple steps before the selection of the vendor can be made," and then lists multiple examples. Is this, it seems like the pre-qualification process is a problem. Is this something that we, the board, can address, or can, the administration of this be improved? And we're looking to, I think, are we hiring another person here because the process is so cumbersome? Is this something we can fix?
Yeah. So that's the fire rescue piece of it. I'm not-
For another position to help with that.
Right. Yeah, that was the justification for the additional position that is being recommended for funding under the proposal that we brought forth. But your question is, are there some things in the pre-qualification period that we can do to alleviate some of this burden? Is
Yes.
that right?
And I know this is maybe a question that can't be answered right now,
Yeah.
but, if because this board does have discussions when we put in policies, or
Yeah.
we want to change an ordinance, what's the burden, what's the cost, fiscal cost of this? And I think here's an example, and I don't know what decisions were made that put us into a process being the problem, but if it's something that we can alleviate, I think that we should.
If it's okay with the board, we can get with purchasing and dig in a little bit deeper on some of the nuances on pre-qual, and particularly with fire rescue, and kind of compare some of the notes there and see if there are some, efficiency issues that we can look at to make that a little bit easier to move through that process. But, okay.
Thank you.
Understood.
And my last one is page 90. So this is, it says with the upcoming dispatching of Jupiter Fire Rescue, and this is a $625,000 equipment purchase. is this, because Jupiter Fire Rescue is going to be becoming its own entity next year. What happens with this equipment? Is this something that we turn over? Are we having to do this because they're forming their own fire department? What's the background on this?
So this is one that we're not recommending for budgeting in this, but if.
No,
Oh,
you
I'm
are.
sorry.
It's approved.
Oh, is that one? Oh, I apologize. Right, this is just on the capital side, not on the position side. My apologies. Chief, if Chief Kennedy is here? Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. So this is for Jupiter to come into the countywide dispatch. So most of our municipalities are in the countywide dispatch, and this purchases the equipment for them because once they start their own department, they're going to be coming in the countywide dispatch. Therefore, they would need their own equipment.
So what happens to this equipment, the $625,000 equipment?
Well, they will be starting that will go to them. So there's only 3 departments right now that aren't in our countywide dispatch. I believe it's Town of Palm Beach, Boynton, and Boca. So they're going to be in our countywide dispatch. So it's going to put computers into their trucks, radios into their trucks. It's a part of the countywide dispatch that they would be in.
All right, maybe I'm being confused here. Are we paying $625,000 on equipment that we're just going to turn over to Jupiter Fire Rescue when they become their own fire department?
That's correct, but we do that for other departments as well. So all the other departments that we do the dispatch for, we purchase their equipment as well. They're in the countywide dispatch.
Okay, so this is not an outlier.
It is not an outlier. There's only 3 departments that do their own dispatch, and then we wouldn't do it for them. The rest of them we dispatch for.
Okay, that's the end of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no more lights on. Okay. Vice Mayor, I shouldn't have said anything. Vice Mayor.
I had my light on earlier, but I never actually got to my question. On the last page of page 13 of the presentation,
Yes.
requests not included, you had briefly kind of covered that. Are you asking us to wait until the
Yeah.
mid-year adjustments for those, or are you asking, can we not pay for those for, I believe you said it was 1.9 million in the adjustment that the property appraiser was off? Like, what are you suggesting?
So
those.
what my suggestion is on this is, one, that we request the request that we should include is the park supplemental revenue reduction on the youth sports piece. But on the requests that were not included, to your point, yes, we do have $1.97 million that I went over in the summary of changes, that we've recommended increasing that into reserves, holding off on spending that on these 4 requests until we have an opportunity to make sure that the reductions that the state is telling us are happening on our revenue share are trued up in the first quarter of the year, so that we're not off on any of those dollars, which we don't think we are, but at least it gives us a little bit of time to review those new changes, because it starts right off in the new fiscal year. And then on these 4 bullets, these requests we would bring back to you at the same time mid-year, when we bring the additional $10 million for PBSO to true up their budget, which would be in March of '26, and then take these as a lot at mid-year, which is usually when we pick up some additional funding from the property appraiser's office that we think will be able to cover these expenses in addition to the PBSO expenses that we got the previous direction from the board. Does that make sense? I'm
I
sorry.
think I may agree with you on
From-
3 of the
sorry, yeah.
4 of those bullet points waiting till mid-year. The animal care and control supplemental request, they are highly understaffed, underpaid, all the above. I mean, really waiting another 6 months
Okay.
doesn't seem appropriate. They really, I think, could use some more people helping care for those animals.
Okay.
So if we can potentially do that sooner than later, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
The other 3, if you feel March is the best
Yeah, I think
timeframe?
I think so. On the March timeframe, the Riverbend and the PBSO one will give us an opportunity to dive in a little bit deeper with PBSO. We've gotten some new proposals, but we have some new technological issues that we're working through with them that might help us out as well in some of the security. And then the HR position, I think, will be in good shape by that March period to move forward on it. It'll give us some time to work with the new administrator as well on some of the strategies on onboarding for that. but we're happy to include the animal care supplementals as part of this request and just move it up and fund that
I mean,
as
unless
we come back in
one of my fellow
26.
commissioners has an issue with that, I think that would be probably one of the more pressing, getting the,
Okay.
you know, we're talking about animals, we're not,
Yes.
it's not just sitting there.
Good with that. And just so you know, specifically on the animal care request, the item that we are specifically talking about funding, just for the record, is on page,
And you know what would be helpful in these presentations going forward, when you have these requests in dollars, is linking them to page numbers
yeah,
of the full budget, so that we're not searching.
I got you. You got it.
I'm waiting to hear the page number.
While you're waiting for the page number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. It is, no, it's the,
Yeah, page
Yes.
70.
okay. No. Okay, yep, page 70. Thank you for waiting. Sorry about that.
And that's all, those are my questions,
Okay.
so thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. Commissioner Sacks?
Thank you. I'm going to make it real brief, but I certainly agree that there could be a better way to organize it, to help us so that it doesn't become so, I know you all can read it right away because you're mathematicians and things, but we're not, and it would be a lot helpful. I just want to say that I wanted to say at the very beginning, we have the head of the Animal Care and Control sitting here all day waiting on this, and they have been asking for additional staff for quite a while. We're also waiting, and I am not waiting patiently, for the use of the acreage of land that we've been sitting on in facilities. So that would, a lot of these things would obviate having to have additional people. People cost money, employees cost money, but if one day soon, and that new day is coming when we can use that land that is adjacent to the animal care and control facility, it would be well placed for the folks there, and maybe obviate having more people.
Okay.
So, looking forward to that day. So yeah, I think we just have to work on it a little bit more for organization. Thank you for the work. And
Yes, ma'am.
definitely you'll put that in, I'm sure, while you
Yes,
talk. Thank
we
you.
will.
Commissioner Woodward?
Thank you. Round two, it'll be quicker, I hope. On page 140, because we also discussed the budget summaries, and I asked you about if you look at the beginning, and I apologize, this is my third budget cycle. I had to take algebra twice, so it takes me a little bit to kind of wrap my brain around some of this stuff. But looking at a few of these, we're going from fiscal year 2022 to the tentative budget for 26. And county administration, it's an increase of 107% if you just look at the ad valorem funding. I only focused on what is coming out of ad valorem. Went from 1.9 to 4.1, and I had asked about that yesterday. Were you able to get an answer?
Yes, and yeah, actually, I'm going to have Lisa explain, because it's actually again, going back to the charge-off issue that we talked with county attorneys, that's a component of the explanation for that piece.
Yeah, if you look at page 140, you can see in 2022, there was revenue of 494, and that doesn't exist in any outer year, because we incorporated that into our overall cost allocation. So it kind of makes it look like the ad valorem funding is, a lot less than it really was. It's just in a different bucket. So if you look at just the appropriations, it went from 2.5 to 4.1, which is still an increase. There was a position added in 2024. There were also vacancies that were in the actuals. This is comparing actuals. You're comparing an actual 2022 to a budget in 2026, and the budget includes all positions budgeted for the full year, and if there was vacancies, then that money actually went to the fund balance. So, and that did happen in the older years. So when you compare budget to budget, it's not as dramatic of an increase. Also, there were 6% pay increases for the last 4 years, so that's, 24%, so that's a pretty big number as well.
And I checked all of the departments on that, and some departments were averaging around like 9 to 10% per year. Would that be equivalent to the 6% cost of living? Because the 6% is salary, but it's more than that because it's also other, what else do we?
All the other, the taxes, the FRS, all of that stuff. So it's not just 6% salaries, it's
So is it
salaries
about a
and
9%
benefits,
when we
yeah.
do 6?
Yeah,
Does
it
it
would
cost
be
us about 9?
somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, because that would explain it. There's consistency in a lot of the departments,
Yes.
which keeps them around 9 to 10%, and that would be equivalent to the cost of living that we've done for the past 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, and then my other one was on page 161, planning, zoning, and building. And there's a lot on this one. There's a lot of different revenues, appropriations, and I just looked at ad valorem. And again, this one went from 3.2 to 10.6 million, which is a 230% increase.
Yeah, this one's a little, hard to look at because part of this is building. But again, you're looking at just the ad valorem. So I looked at the ad valorem. They had like a $3.5 million of revenue in 2022 that didn't continue every year. So that is kind of offsetting this actual here. And when you look at the budget to the budget, if you looked at the 22 budget to the 26 budget, it really went from like 8 million to 10 million, not 3 million to 10 million. So that's, and then, the vacancies and stuff as well, which is also an issue everywhere.
So was some of this maybe grant funding, or how did we lose that much revenue that we had to make it up with ad valorem?
It was I didn't look into detail as to what it was, but it was multiple revenue lines where they had some big revenues that didn't continue year over year.
Was some of this ARPA funding, perhaps?
No, because that would be a grant and that wouldn't go into your ad valorem, so no. It was just like.
Can we get a more detailed answer on that to find out why? Because this, and I know, but this has a lot of different line items on here, and I couldn't quite make it make sense on how the ad valorem jumped so much.
I'm going to split this next year into planning and zoning and building so that it's a lot more clearer, so that we don't have, I can give you a better answer.
Thank you. And then my last question is on 145. That's engineering and public works. So we stopped putting gas tax in '24, and I know that we also put gas tax in the Palm Tran, which is on page 159. Where did this gas tax that used to go to engineering, where does that go now?
It now goes to the engineering capital, to like the road program capital.
Is that in a different page here? or-
This is just the operating budget, so it goes into the capital budget now.
So where is that in our book? Is
It's
that?
not in here. It would be listed under the capital projects. It would be in this capital section here, starting on page 120, 115. Sorry. 105 is where the capital starts.
And is it delineated what gas tax is in those projects, or is it just kind of, the gas tax went to capital projects?
It went to all these capital projects. Well, not to all of them, very specific ones, but I don't have.
But it does delineate it by gas tax.
It is.
And impact fees and general
Right.
revenue and grants. Sorry, it does delineate in the capital piece by funding source. So you'll see where gas taxes are allocated per project by the amount, fees such as impact fees or other kinds of grants that come in, and then previous year funding it'll show as well. And it will talk about building fees, et cetera, and just lines that out for you.
And the gas tax specifically is on page 106 and 107, and you can see the detail of which specific projects.
Okay, so then, even with that taken into account, removing the gas tax, the ad valorem increased pretty dramatically on that. So was that?
That was deliberate, was in 24, 25's budget, that we used to use gas tax to fund the operations of engineering, and we stopped using the gas tax, so we increased the ad valorem to cover the operating, so that way 100% of the gas tax allocated to engineering went to the capital project, the 5-year road program.
And it still increased 52%.
Yeah, it was,
I mean, with, if you just look at ad valorem, we increased 324%, but if you, you know, add the gas tax in, I mean, it's still a pretty significant increase.
it was a huge increase in the 24, 25 budget, 25 for the current year. And
May I, Commissioner? Was this a reflection of us prioritizing, right, roads, the 5-year road program? And that's why this is what we asked for. We wanted to be a priority of the roads, which is why the operating budget, right, is now, and gas taxes going to the actual capital improvement.
No, I agree, and I remember us making that decision. I'm just curious that it seems like we made a decision to prioritize roads, but we more than made up for the change, removing the gas tax. I mean, and it's one of those where we might could lose sight of, yes, we want to prioritize a capital project, and then this budget's always been what this budget's always been, so we just need to move or ad valorem in to fill the gap. And, I mean, did we really just increase the budget by that much? That's what I'm trying to parse out here.
Yeah,
Because
we
it is
did
a
a real
capital
detailed
versus-
slide, and I can't remember it when we talked about this in 25, because I want to say we looked at stormwater, something we had not budgeted in before, and we said, okay, we need to be putting money aside for stormwater, so we included those kind of things. And the operating funds that gas tax used fund, we still do those operating. We just now take the gas tax dollars and put it more on the capital 5-year road program. We can pull the slide from last year, because I know it detailed out exactly what we did, and I just haven't looked at it recently to be able to, so.
Okay. No, I do remember doing that, and I voted with it. I agreed to do it.
Right.
It's just, you know, if we make a decision to prioritize something and we don't account for a gap that was left behind, then we're taking more ad valorem dollars, and that is exactly what we had to do to keep this.
Right.
And
Right, and we had double-digit increases in our property values, and that's what allowed us to even do it, because it wouldn't be something we could probably do this year to try to build that into this year's, not with what our increases are.
And it's
So-
not something I foresee us being able to do.
Correct.
It's not, thank you, it's not sustainable, so, and I know that we can only change the gas tax the one time, but it is something that we need to be very aware of when we're making those changes, that, yes, we're moving money from here to here, but then we have to put some more money back here, because we're not just removing it.
Right.
We have to fill it with something else,
Right.
and we're filling it with property taxes.
Right.
So, that was it, thank you.
Commissioner Sacks.
Is there someone in the office who, in your office, that looks critically at these issues and can give us an explanation as to them? I mean, I'm looking at some, I'm not going to go page by page, but I've got a lot of questions.
Sure.
And I'm not looking at you, Todd, because I know this is, I'm looking at our task force here, okay, our county staff. Who is it in your office that will review our budget and look at it critically, so that I'm on page 179, and I've got questions. I'm not going to go into them now.
Yeah.
But is there someone in your office, and who am I speaking to now? Who's the speaker for this office?
So
I like when everybody looks at
No,
each other.
you're fine.
You know, it's like this. Huh?
So I'm the budget director.
You're the, okay, good. Then you're the one.
Yes.
Tell me who in your office is in charge of critically looking at these revenues, expenditures.
So we have 7 budget analysts that each
No,
have.
I just want to know who. You don't need to describe the office to me.
Well, that's who looks, we split up the budget because it's so immense into, each budget analyst has like 5 or 6 departments, and they're responsible for reviewing and analyzing the budget. And then they turn it into us, and we look at it and ask our questions.
So you're the one who could come to us and say, the reason that we had the issues with the highway and the roads is because we prioritize that. That's what I'm looking for. this is sort of today's like a hit and miss.
Yes.
And it's time consuming. And frankly, I think we can do better, don't you?
Yeah, and we'd
Of
be
course.
happy to schedule some one-on-ones with you if you want to do some
It's
deeper
not-
dives on
no, we
those and
don't,
all the
Todd, we
commissioners
don't
on
need,
that
I
too.
appreciate, because you're everywhere and you do a lot. I'm looking at the budget director.
Okay.
Okay? We need you to run the office so that when you come to 7 of us and an attorney and incoming county administrator, that you can give explanations for these. Because I have too many questions, and I need to have, we're stewards of our people's money. That's important. So if you could review that, I don't need one-on-one. I need to have a report that is more professionally based than what we're seeing here. Okay? And if you could give us a report on that, you could do that through an email to all of us, what you expect to do on this. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I think I'll wrap this up. I do actually have 2 pages worth of questions, and I'm not going to ask them. What I'm going to do is just submit them to you all, because I think the questions that I have, I think everybody would also like the answers to the questions like, what is the long-term consequence of repeatedly foregoing the rollback rate? So not questions that you can answer on the fly. So what I'll do is I will give you all these questions, and if you could, in a memo, just answer them and send it out to the board. Because from our perspective, yes, the budget changes every year, and we all have questions, and, we all look at, what's the increase in percentage of one item versus another item. And if we had a better idea of where we were going, that'd be great. Also, one of the questions that's not in here that I've always wondered is, from year to year, we have the requests, and then the requests are either accepted or denied. I think a history of the requests to see if the same department has been asking the same question for 5 years and they keep getting turned down. Why are they still asking, and why are they getting turned down? Maybe there's a history of what we might need that we don't even know we need. So if we could also look at the requests and what has been approved and what has been denied going forward would be a good idea. Kind of like when Jennifer Cirillo came up and she was talking about parks and security. So I think that would be good information for all of us also, because at the end of the day, it's us up here saying what the budget should look like. I mean, you bring us a budget, and at the end of the day, we say yes or no to that budget, or we say we want $60,000 for backpacks, and we want $100,000 for animal care and control, and find out where we can get that. And then also a real good idea of reserves, because at the end of the day, if we have an emergency, we need to know what our reserves will do for us, and if we are putting enough reserves away a year or not, or are we putting too much? I know that there'll be counties that'll say you're never putting away too much because you never know what you'll need, but we also need to make sure that whatever we decide with the millage rate, and today what we're doing is setting the cap at, if the board so chooses, setting the cap at 4.5. I know that everyone would love to see a lower millage rate, but I don't want to come back next year and then raise the millage rate, depending on if, as it looks, we were, increase in values on homes at 15%, and we're down to increase in values on homes to 7% this year. So we can't go up and down in our budgeting process. First off, you guys wouldn't be able to do the work if we were going up and down. If you have an idea of what we're setting our millage rate at and it's consistent, then you all can do your job and give us better information. So I will submit these questions, and I think what I am looking for is a authorization for the staff to submit proposed not to exceed millage rate of what you got here in the book, because there's different millage rates for different entities. So we have, this is item 6I1, A, B, C, and D, and E.
Correct.
I don't think that any of us need to make any changes to what is here. I think this is getting us going forward. So I would look for a motion from one of our board members to accept and move forward. Item 6.
Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and move item 6I1, A, B, C, D, and is there an E?
And there is an E, yes. There's an E.
And an E.
I have a motion, and Vice Mayor, did you make the second? Second. I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, the second from Vice Mayor Baxter. I see no more lights on. I see 6 people on the dais. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. And we'll get that information back to you as soon as we possibly
I'll
can.
give you my list.
Got it.
Okay, we are now on item J, County Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The staff is recommending a motion granting the county attorney's request to schedule a private meeting for an attorney-client session between the Board of County Commissioners, the county administrator, the county attorney, chief assistant county attorney, and assistant county attorneys pursuant to Section 286.0118 Florida statutes to discuss settlement negotiations and pending litigation in which Palm Beach County is presently a party, B&B Properties, Inc. versus Palm Beach County, Florida, and to give public notice of a private meeting for an attorney-client session to be held at 1 p.m. on July 22nd, 2025, in the McKeedy Conference Room at 301 North Olive Avenue, 12th floor, West Palm Beach, Florida, and placing further notice of the private meeting, BCC's meeting agenda. The following persons will attend the meeting with the members of the BCC who are present at that time: Todd J. Von Laren, Interim County Administrator; Denise Kaufman, County Attorney; David Oddie, Chief Assistant County Attorney; Sean Fahey, Assistant County Attorney. Summary: the BCC will discuss settlement negotiations.
Vice Mayor Baxter has a question.
Attorney Kaufman, I would also like to include the incoming county administrator that I don't see on this list so that he is up to date for when he takes over.
I have no problem including and will hereby amend this motion to include the incoming county administrator, Joseph Abruzzo.
So I would like to move item 6J1 with the follow amendment.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Baxter, a second from Commissioner Sacks. All in favor? All opposed? See that that motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Okay. We're on to board appointments. We've actually finished our regular agenda. Woohoo! So we will start with Commissioner Powell. Do you have any commission district appointments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can you come back to me?
Sure. Commissioner Weiss.
No appointments.
Vice Mayor.
No appointments.
Commissioner Woodward.
No appointments.
Commissioner Sacks. Commissioner Powell.
No appointments at this time, but I have 2 that are pending.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. All right, so now we have administration. Any comments? Maybe. Administration, any comments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do have a few comments that I'll move through as quickly as I can. On our board directives, looking for a receive and file, but just wanted to share a couple of items with you that have been closed out. One, I sent to you last week, a brief email on our fluoridation removal that we successfully completed that process well before the deadline, and wanted to make sure that you knew that that was complete in all of our facilities. We also brought back to the Board of County Commissioners a resolution condemning some of the anti-Semitic events of Washington, D.C. We brought back the item for you on the directed payment program for area hospitals, closed that out. We'll incorporate our contract employee performance reviews, and then we did our designations earlier today on some of the roadways and the update on Palm Tran and some of the gas tax distribution. So just wanted to point those items out for you on our directive list and ask you to receive and file unless you have any other additional questions on that.
So we need a motion to receive and file?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
moved.
We got 12 of those. We'll give this one to the Vice Mayor and the second to Commissioner Woodward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that that motion carries 6-0. Anything
Thank you.
else?
Yes, ma'am. So just for a number of us that will be traveling this week to the National Association of Counties conference, Palm Beach County is being recognized for a number of awards from some of the great work of our county departments, and 28 to be exact of NACO Achievement Awards. And they range in the areas of children, youth, community and economic development, county administration, health, human services, information technology, parks and recreation, and transportation. And I just want to thank every one of our departments and our employees that are making sure that Palm Beach County is seen in the best light and some of the best innovations that we have. And it's a real honor for us to have that number of recognitions from NACO. So we'll have an opportunity to hear about this when we're up in Philadelphia. And so I just wanted, for the record, to thank our county employees and recognize some of these great projects that they've worked on. So thank you for that. The other item that I had, and I know that we had a chance to talk about Ed Chase a little bit
Oh, let's trash him.
during his, and he was, Ed's, it's the last couple of days, so he feels like he can come up here and say whatever he wants about me and throw some shade every now and then. But Ed, if you can come up, Ed, if you don't mind. There are a number of things that we wanted to do to recognize you, and I'll share a few.
I just said I knew him at that age.
That's right. It's actually Ed, the wax figure, up in the very corner there.
Look at Todd, how young he was there.
That is me, yeah, if you can believe that. That is me. So very quickly, Ed and I first met almost 30 years ago, and Ed was working in Congress at the time. I had just started working back in 1995 as a legislative aide, and we had districts that overlapped over in Highlands County and Hendry County. And it wasn't until a little while later that I called up Ed and I said, you need to come and work with us at the county. So back in 2001, he called up and said, I think I'm ready to get back into politics. He had done a small stint in the private sector, and he was hired in 2001 as executive director of our delegation, where he served for 9 years. He left us, and he went to the private sector. He worked as the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and spent about 8-9 years working in the private sector. And then we said, we need you back, Ed. We usually don't do that when somebody leaves us, but we made an exception for him. And he told me that he'd give me a minimum of 10 years when he came back, so we're at year 6.
Close.
Yeah, pretty close. So we're letting him slide on this one. But, I mean, obviously, Ed's professionalism, his humor, his knowledge, not only of government at each level of government, but of the private sector and some of their needs, have been incredibly valuable to us as a county, incredibly valuable to us in administration. His insights are amazing. It's always fun to listen to Ed anywhere he goes. And so we wanted to make sure that we sent him off with a few little things from the county. So this is one of our county baskets that we have for you, Ed, full of a number of cool things. But most of you know that Ed's a boater and a drinker of beer. So, Ed, we wanted to make sure you had your captain hat before you set sail, with your captain cups, and then also your captain socks, and then most
Captain Morgan in there
importantly,
too?
your captain beer bottle opener, and a number of other captain items that we put together for you inside of this bag. We also wanted to give you this card, Ed, that's signed by a number of your colleagues. Some great messages in there to just share some of the wonderful times that we've shared together. And then finally, a history of Ed and photos with some of our board members and some of the rest of his team. And I wanted to make sure that Ed had this to remember us every day. You can bring it out on the boat with you on Wednesdays when we're here working, and enjoy it as you're sipping some cocktails and thinking about us in your retirement. So Ed, thank you so much.
All right.
We love you, man.
We're taking pictures. We could have done this during proclamations when we look fresh.
Captain Ed.
Maria, you get over here.
I got you beat, Todd. I've known him almost 40 years.
No doubt.
We're going to get you a no anchoring zone in front of your house.
What's that fellow with the big hat? Come and check. Yeah.
Get more on this side.
Okay, there you go. Here we go. A 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Got it, awesome.
Thank you. Aw, Ed, we're gonna miss you.
You were great in the delegation.
You should remember.
Right, remember?
She was my boss for a while.
Well.
Ed, you got a handshake over here, you got a hug,
We know you're wonderful.
Sort of, for most people.
Did you say goodbye? Do you know it? You know everybody, don't you?
Went out on your boat.
Whenever you need the tour.
Some additional comments that you wanted to make for Ed, too? Hey, Jake? Yeah. Ed, if you could just line up over there. Back over here, big guy.
So one thing I will say to Todd, he is almost correct. Todd encouraged, actually, he recruited me to come to work for Palm Beach County 3 times and was successful twice. I went to school, that's a D average, so we need to work on your recruitment skills.
Gotcha, man.
But it's been a pleasure to
got my
work
HR director
for the
for-
county twice. You've created a working environment here that is collaborative and fun, and you are very clear with direction, and you give your employees ample lane width to get their job done. And that's, as an employee, that's all we can ask for, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you very much.
I don't think you can leave yet. Commissioner Powell, your light is on. Is this for, you want to say anything? Because you've known him a long time, too.
I've known him like.
Yeah. Let's see, I've known Ed since 1988.
Yep.
Yeah.
7, 8.
87.
Bad time to tell you I was 5.
That's all right. Well, we were young, too. We were young and silly, and I have to say thank you to Ed for a lot of things, but basically just for your friendship and for your humor. This is a gentleman who can take any meeting and put a smile on anybody's face because he has one of the best sense of humors I've ever witnessed. And Ed, you will be missed because we need some humor sometimes.
Do.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, we're good.
All right, thank
Love
you.
ya.
Thank you, Ed. And then one final item, Madam Mayor. So, although Ed is leaving us and we know we have some big shoes to fill, Casey Denny has really been a champion on our legislative team, has worked incredibly with our staff, with our contract lobbyists. So we're excited to have Casey move into that role that Ed had as intergovernmental. And we have advertised for the Legislative Affairs Director for the county, and we'll be conducting those interviews in the coming weeks and are excited about a number of the applicants that we've already received. So I can tell you that we're going to make sure that the transition is seamless and that we're going to be prepared and ready for the upcoming legislative session. So I wanted to thank you all for your support of that and thank Casey for the great work she does. I know that every one of our department directors thinks she's one of the most valuable players on our team because of her response and what she's been able to do for them. So thank you, Casey, and we look forward to continuing along the same great lines that we have been in legislative affairs. So thanks.
County Attorney.
I did want to take just a moment and to acknowledge a chief counsel in our office who is retiring, which is Helene Vizd. Helene has been our chief appellate counsel for quite some time. She has led a team that has put together winning appellate briefs for all sorts of important cases that we've done. She's also been a chief strategist, and she is a bulldog in court. You don't want to get on her wrong side. Despite her quiet and pleasant appearance, she can really be tenacious, and she's a real fighter. So we're going to miss her very much. She's been very important to me, giving me important counsel from time to time on technical legal issues. So I just wanted to wish her bon voyage, because she is a sailor, and best wishes, and we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell, we're going to come back to your district appointments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to do board appointments. I would like to appoint Ms. Tawana Atkins to the Advisory Commission on Women. And I would like to appoint Attorney Elizabeth McBride to the Aviation and Airports Advisory Board. 2 appointments. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, now we are on to board direction. And Commissioner Weiss, yours was the first one I received, so why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, recently we enacted a, in our procurement policy that we would have these RFPs or whatever coming back to us for a 10-day period. Recently, I've been made aware we've been working for months, actually, almost, I want to say, might even be over a year now, on a procurement to obtain software for PZ&B, new software for them. My understanding is that that is done, and now it just needs to, we're in a time to sit and wait. And I'm just asking the board to waive that 10 days and let's get it on the street so we can get them some new software.
Is that a move? You motioning?
I am asking for board direction.
I think
don't know
board-
if that needs a second,
I-
but if you want to.
I think we're going to go ahead and make a motion and make a
I will
second and
move that
pass
we
it.
waive the 10-day requirement on this procurement.
I'll second it.
Second from the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed, see that that motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to step into Commissioner Joel Flores' shoes and, on his behalf, a request for an off-site proclamation.
Oh, hold on. We're doing board direction, and you sent a letter.
I do have a board direction.
Yeah,
I
we'll
just
come
wanted
back
to do
to,
his first, but I'll do mine first.
we'll come back to that.
Okay, can I do mine first? I'm going to do it right now.
Your board direction,
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
I'm doing this with a history in January of 2014. There was a rain event that occurred in Palm Beach County where we had 17 inches within a couple hours, and which resulted in flooding, and a man died at Kings Point, which is in my district. He died stepping out of his bed. He drowned in the water. So what occurred in the great state of Texas, which is, to me, has been just very, very upsetting, the tragedy. I just want to be sure that we have everything in place so that in case there is a climatic, unusual weather event, which is becoming not so unusual, that we know that we have everything in place. So I'm just asking for a report, a review of being able to be prepared as a county for any extreme weather event. And that's why I hope everybody received my memo the other night. And to make sure that we are prepared to get the communication out to it's a big county, to everybody in the county, that we are having an extreme weather event. And this is what I'm asking as a board direction, Mayor.
So we all received your letter. I think we're all comfortable with what the commissioner is asking for, Todd. So direction from the board would be answer the letter? Perfect. Thank you. And Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So I had the opportunity to meet with the Coggin family. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, they're the family of the child that died who fell into the road of no fault of his own, just other students all trying to leave school. Heartbreaking, very tragic. And so in response to that, I would like to have county staff who are actively reviewing the cost and feasibility of installing guardrails and a bridge surrounding this area to provide a protective barrier between students and passing traffic that are coming to and from middle school. Staff is also looking into the possibility of constructing a pedestrian bridge between Woodlands Middle School and Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School to create a safer connection for students. While those options are being explored, I'm asking for the board to provide direction to staff to conduct an engineering study to evaluate whether a school speed zone is warranted adjacent to the Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School. And to give a little bit of background, high schools don't have, historically a school zone. But when they're right next to a middle school, the assumption, what ends up happening are those middle school students and drivers is, they start speeding up. And middle school students still think they're in a school zone. So I don't know that we can do that on every single high school, but especially if it's adjacent to a middle school or an elementary school, we just want to just have them look at it. I'm not saying we are changing anything, but have engineer really look at what that could look like to provide some more safety for those students.
Actually, I think to expound on that a little bit, it might behoove us to look at other high schools and their proximity to lower schools, to middle schools, or even elementary schools. Because at the end of the day, you're in a school zone, regardless of the fact that it's high school kids. And I think it would behoove us to, if you don't mind, expand on that and make sure that we have the coverage that we need to keep our kids safe.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor and Mayor. I absolutely agree. This is an excellent idea. And we used to have cameras, and whatever engineering says that we can expand the safety, especially of that new school, is absolutely necessary. And definitely, I agree. Thank you.
And also, jumping off of what Commissioner Sachs just said, if this in fact could be considered a school zone, then the cameras, the school zone cameras that we are going to put in place in the future would cover this area also. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. I definitely support this. And I would just like to add, I know high schools don't generally get crossing guards. So I think it would behoove us to have school speed zones in these areas because there's not going to be crossing guards to make sure that the kids are, Boca High School does have a school speed zone and those kids are walking with their faces in their phones. I kind of wish there was a guard to make them look up sometimes, but it is important that high schools are protected as well because there's not adults around to make sure that their crossing is safe. So cars should be slowing down. I definitely support this. And maybe even other high schools too, especially if there's a lot of kids who are walking. We should look at this.
Commissioner Sachs?
Suggest something. Many years ago in the Florida House, Representative Irv Schlossberg put together a bill that's law about having structures along the roadway. And that actually, these barricades actually saved my son's life once when his car went out of control and hit it. And I would ask him, I'll ask him to contact your office and maybe he can help you with the state funding as well for these barricades along our roads, especially close to canals.
I think
we're
first we
all
want to
in this.
identify through engineering what's the best approach.
Good idea.
Not every place is perfect for a guardrail. Not every place is going to be perfect, but especially here and then looking at other potential, just making it safer for the kids, I think is the ultimate goal here. And having them do a study to look at that, I think is a great first step. So thank you, everyone, for your support. Did you want to say something?
Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to thank you, Vice Mayor, for bringing this forward. Speaking to you as clerk. My son plays flag football at Dr. Garcia High School. I'm extremely familiar with the territory, and we have our Clerks for Arts program at Dr. Garcia's High School. You are correct. The middle school butts right up to the high school, and you have high-density townhomes on one side of it and neighborhoods directly across. And I can see how the middle school students believe that they are safe and in a secure school zone when they're not, once they cross over. And when they cross over, that's where the majority of the homes are in that area. So I wanted to thank you for, of course, our clerk family that partakes in the high school, but also for a father that has a son that frequents the area. So appreciate it.
Thank you. So direction is clear. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to commissioner comments now. And Commissioner Sachs, if you would like to do yours and Commissioner Flores's, that'd be great.
Thank you so much. Oh, I do want to mention Jennifer Cirillo, who's here today, and your executive assistant, Indira Prasad, for our 4th of July event at the park in South County. It was amazing. And I'm not just talking about the fireworks. The food, the drinks, the rock and roll band. It was really awesome. And you did a beautiful job, Jennifer, and thank you so much for that. Now, on behalf of my seatmate here, Commissioner Flores, he has a request for an off-site proclamation declaring July 26, 2025 as International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem. So
I have a motion from Commissioner Sachs, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 6-0.
And one more, on behalf of Commissioner Joe G. Flores, a request for an off-site proclamation declaring July 1, 2025 as National Postal Worker Day.
I have a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. And what about you? Anything for you?
No, I think that I was just so impressed with the 4th of July event down there. And the babies are doing well at home. The 3-week-old is already smiling at me. He knows exactly where the bottles are all the time. So I'm very happy, very pleased, and very proud to work with this group of county commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward? No comments. Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to do 2 off-site proclamations. One proclamation honoring Reverend Benjamin Carroll, who's the pastor of Greater Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, for 20 years of dedicated service.
Do I have a second on that one?
Second.
I got a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 6-0.
I'd also like to request an off-site proclamation declaring July 11th, 2025 as Bobby E. Brooks Jr. Day, who is Bobby E. Brooks, the principal at Westford Elementary, is retiring, and we would like to do an off-site proclamation for him.
I have a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize the passing of one of the pastors in my community, Reverend Griffin Davis, who has been the pastor of Hilltop Missionary Baptist Church for many, many years in the community. I can't tell you how long, but I know prior to me being born, I believe he was the pastor there, and he recently passed away. So I do want to recognize that and just take a moment of silence in his honor. Thank you. And lastly, Edith C. Bush. A few years ago, she turned 90 years old. And on July 11th, she will celebrate her 93rd birthday. Of course, Edith Bush is the executive director of the Martin Luther King Coordinating Committee, which specializes in cultural and civic events within our community that many of us have participated in, especially Commissioner Weiss. I just want to make sure we acknowledge her birthday, which will be July 11th. She'll be 93, and she's got more energy than many people who are 39. So thank you. And that's it for me.
Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you.
I'm going to be requesting off-site proclamations for July 11th, 2025 is 7/11 Community Engagement Day. August 6th, 2025 is Jamaican Independence Day. And a proclamation honoring Marty Perry.
Is that an offsite?
All three are off-site.
Okay. So I have 3 motions, all by Commissioner Weiss and 3 seconds by Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? Those motions carry 6-0.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Vice Mayor?
I'm going to say one last goodbye to Mr. Ed Chase. We're going to miss you. You've been really a vital role to helping keep our legislative priorities straight and always making us laugh. So thank you. I want to thank staff and my fellow commissioners and mayor for supporting my board direction today. So thank you again. And I'm looking forward to see what staff comes up with. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
I'll be brief. I will not be going to NACO, and I'm happy for all of you that are. My mom turns 90 this Saturday, so I'm not traveling, but I'll be there with my mom. And that was the reason I was out of town last week, because Mom asked me to take care of some family business out of town. So thank you for having the meeting. I think I was talking to Todd at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time, to get the meeting arranged. So glad that was able to happen. And I want to just say thank you all to staff. Ed, you'll be missed. So what can I say? Meeting's adjourned.